From gravity-defying waterfalls to magnetic hills, here are 10 places where gravity doesn't seem to exist. Hoover Dam, Nevada, USA. Rivers flow downhill, water drops to the ground when you pour it from the top of a building. Everything obeys the law of gravity. That's what you were taught, right? But is that always the case? There's a dam that might be violating the law of gravity. The Hoover Dam is majestically situated in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River, right on the border between Nevada and Arizona, USA. Built in the 1930s to supply electricity to California, this dam is known for several mind-blowing facts. Its magnificent height of 726 feet, 221.3 meters, made it the world's tallest dam when it was built. Its power plant was the world's largest hydroelectric station from 1939 to 1949, and the second highest bridge in America runs along the top of the dam. Although Hoover has been relegated to seconds as it's become the second tallest dam in the US, it's a great tourist attraction due to its shocking, gravity-defying feature. Tourists that visit the Hoover Dam and pour water or soda over the edge of its over 700-foot, 213-meter barrier notice that water flows upwards instead of downwards. Amazing, right? This occurrence leaves us with lots of questions. Does Hoover defy gravity? If the dam has an anti-gravity field, why doesn't it send other items flying upwards? One fascinating thing is that there's gravity along the perimeter of the Black Canyon. So, what causes the upward flow of water when poured from that height? Scientists believe that the probable cause is heavy wind around the dam. The height and shape of the structure cause an updraft, which is too strong for water to fall downward. This explanation is quite logical, if we must admit. Well, if you ever plan on visiting this historical dam, be sure to experiment with some liquid. Just be careful not to litter. Mystery Spot, Santa Cruz, California. Just like its name implies, the mystery spot hides an inexplicable mystery. This unusual house is situated on a 150-foot circular area in the forest outside Santa Cruz. In 1939, a group of surveyors discovered the spot by noticing that its magnetic field had irregularities. George Prather opened the area to the public in 1940. The mystery spot has become a popular tourist site in the USA. If you visit the building, you'd walk on it in a tilted manner, stand at a seemingly impossible angle, and see objects that look like they're rolling uphill. Nevertheless, some people say the house was built at an angle, and what you see at Mystery Spot is an optical illusion. But whichever narrative about this building is true, one paramount thing still holds. It makes gravity seem non-existent. Reverse Waterfall, Faroe Island, Kingdom of Denmark. Just when we thought that nothing could beat the Hoover Dam, there's another interesting discovery that will make you think twice about gravity. You might think that liquid flowing upward from a bottle is awesome. How about a waterfall? In between Scotland and Iceland, there's a waterfall that flows upwards. The waterfall shoots up, a magnificent sight to behold. You can find this strange phenomenon in the Atlantic Ocean at Faroe Island, but just like the Hoover Dam, the wind powers the water to flow upwards. Any water that flows downward is caught by the wind and pushed back up. Do you want to visit the reverse waterfall? Take a trip to Faroe Island and you can enjoy the sight. Maybe when we can travel again, if ever. Hudson Bay area, Canada. You might think that an area of 150 feet without gravity is spectacular. How about an area that's more than 1 million kilometers? In the 1960s, scientists discovered that the Hudson Bay area in Canada has less gravity than the rest of the world. You won't float here or have water flowing upwards, but you definitely weigh less. The fascinating thing is that it took scientists 40 years to figure out why there's less gravity in the area. It turns out that you can trace that reason back to what you studied in physics. Gravity occurs as a result of mass. Any part of the Earth with more density will have more gravity, and any part with less density will have reduced gravity. Do you remember the movie Ice Age and how the Earth was covered in ice? 10,000 years ago, during the Ice Age, Canada's experience was a bit different. A huge glacier called the Laurentide ice sheet covered the country, but that wasn't enough. The heavy ice sheet used the opportunity to squeeze the Earth's rocks and hold it down. When Laurentide finally melted, the Earth tried to bounce back. Unfortunately, it had been repressed for so long, so the planet's rock in Hudson Bay ended up not having the same mass as the rest of the world. With its reduced mass came reduced gravity. If you need instant weight loss, visit the Hudson Bay area and you'll see the number on the scale go down. Magnetic Hill, Ladakh, India. Right in Leh Kargil-Baltic National Highway of India, there's a hill that might have magnetic properties, which helps it to defy the law of gravity. The route stretches for about 30 kilometers from Leh to Kargil. You would see the road going uphill, but if you turn off your engine and put the car in neutral, the vehicle will start moving on its own. It can even move uphill at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour without a running engine. Some people believe that the hilly highway has magnetic properties that push cars uphill, while others attribute the uphill movement to supernatural elements. A few people think the road is an optical illusion. The road is actually going downhill, but the surrounding hills and areas layout makes you see it otherwise. Whatever the case may be, you can take a trip to the highway to experience this strange phenomenon. You'd also save tons of fuel in the process. St. Ignace Mystery Spot, Michigan, United States. There's yet another mystery spot in Michigan, United States. In the 1950s, some surveyors were exploring the place when their equipment stopped working in a 300-foot circular area. The area is the mystery spot. If you go into the cabin constructed there, you can balance on a wall and exchange height with another person. You can also stand in a tilted fashion without falling. Although people attribute these gravity-defying feats to an optical illusion, they're still fun and amazing to behold. Mysterious Place, Gujarat, India. Tulsi Sham in the Gir Forest National Park is famous for its 3,000-year-old Krishna temple, a hot water spring with healing powers, and its anti-gravity hill. Like the Indian National Highway, if you set your car on neutral and turn off the engine at the base of the hill, it will slowly creep uphill at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Residents claim that the road leads to heaven, which causes vehicles to be pulled upwards. In reality, this road situated on the border of Junagadh and Imreli district is an optical illusion. Rather than going uphill, the road slopes downhill, but its structure and horizontal line tricks your brain into thinking that it's uphill. Oregon Vortex, House of Mystery, Oregon, United States. The Oregon Vortex is in Sardine Creek in Gold Hill, Oregon. Located within a 165-foot radius, it does not just defy gravity, it also bends light and alters mass. But before buildings were constructed in the area, Native Americans called the place the Forbidden Land. Horses also refused to go through the area. The Old Gray Mining Company built an outpost in the Oregon Vortex in 1904. The building slid from its foundation and stayed at an odd angle. William McCullough rediscovered the building in 1914 and convinced his friend Lister, an engineer and geologist, to research the phenomena. The Oregon Vortex and its House of Mystery were opened to tourists in 1930, and it's the earliest recorded gravitational spot in the United States. After Lister died in 1959, his wife sold the place to Ernie and Irene Cooper. Their daughter and grandson have been managing the place ever since. If you visit the Oregon Vortex, you'll see objects rolling uphill. You can also exchange height with someone else. You could appear taller or shorter than the person depending on where you stand. If you walk around, you may need to hold the walls as you feel like you're losing your balance. There's also a broom that stands upright no matter where you place it. A professor from the University of Oregon visited the area in 1966 and claimed that the occurrences were as a result of optical illusions. In 1999, two UC Berkeley researchers added that visitors experience a different reality in Oregon Vortex because the brain's visual processing uses spatial frames of reference to create what they see. However, tourists think differently. They've used several instruments to measure the angle and tilt, and they say there's no trickery involved. Spook Hill, Lake Wales, Florida. Just like in other places, cars put on neutral appear to roll back up the hill. All you have to do is put your car on the white line indicated by a signboard and take it out of gear. Spook Hill is located in Lake Wales Ridge, Florida. About 3 million years ago, the Sand and Milestone Hills in the area were islands. According to legend, an Indian village that lived there was constantly attacked by an alligator. Their warrior chief killed the gator in a huge battle that created Lake Wales. Years later, male riders noticed that their horses were laboring on what appeared to be downhill. They named the place Spook Hill. When the road was paved, cars still moved uphill even when the ignition was off. Many people claim that this hill located on 5th Street is only an optical illusion. The changes in elevation make it look like you're at the hill's bottom when you're actually at the top. Golden Boulder, Myanmar, Asia. A large rock hanging precariously from a cliff with half of it threatening to fall off should not exist. However, the enormous granite boulder, Kyauktayo Pagoda has been perched at the top of a cliff in Mon State, Myanmar for 2,500 years. With a 25-foot height and a 50-foot circumference, this boulder is hard to miss. According to legend, Buddha gave a strand of his hair to a hermit. The hermit gave the hair to a king who wished that the hair be enshrined in a boulder. The king went on to pull the rock from the ocean using magic. He then found the perfect place for the golden boulder and built a pagoda where the hair was enshrined. Tourists and pilgrims visit the pagoda regularly. Some light candles, chant mantras, and give offerings to Buddha. A few place their head on the rock praying. People believe that if you complete the pilgrimage to the pagoda 3 times in a year, you'd have great fortune and tremendous wealth. Now, the site is the 3rd most important Buddhist pilgrimage site in Myanmar, also known as Burma. The pagoda gets the most pilgrims on the full moon day of Tabong in March, when 90,000 candles are lit and the golden rock glitters from the sky. So, which of these seemingly gravity-defying areas do you prefer? Would you rather visit the Hoover Dam, take a pilgrimage to the Golden Boulder, or lose weight in the Hudson Bay area? Maybe you're inclined to visit one of the mystery spots or the gravitational hills. Whichever you choose, you're sure to have fun and marvel at the sight. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you're new here. See you later.